Hello YouTube, Freddy Cardona here. Let's get you the news.
Unload events like our upcoming Lowe's Bucket Ball Challenge and Kids Workshop.
This is an extended news version that we're going to do here in Paterson, New Jersey for my subscribers who requested that I do a driving in the news while driving through Paterson again. Here we go.
On crystal clear 92.3 FM.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning, 41, low clouds, even some fog out there at 7:40. I'm Glenn Schuck. Here's what's happening. Jersey State trooper shot in the leg in Paterson, hospitalized, recovering in stable condition. One suspect captured. There's two others at large. Members of the City Council will introduce a bill to create no-cost universal child care in the 5 boroughs. They'll do that today. Turbulence at 37,000 feet. Pretty bad, too, forcing a Lufthansa flight to make an emergency landing in D.C. The MTA is adding some cars to certain LIRR lines to ease overcrowding with these new schedules. And Gershwin Prize for Lifetime Achievement going to Joni Mitchell last night. That was in Washington, D.C. as well. Sports. Knicks are hot. 7 straight wins. They blew out the Nets at the Garden. The Rangers beat the Flyers in overtime. Another win for the Devils. They beat the Avalanche. The final there 7-5. And AccuWeather says cloudy, showers, breezy, and milder, though, today with some sun coming out as we get up to 57. But it looks like some wintry weather is headed back our way tomorrow afternoon. Winds News Time, 7:41. It's traffic and transit with Karen Stewart.
Well, that BQE accident westbound at Atlantic Avenue ends up being 3 cars involved with it. We've got the left lane blocked there with these 3 vehicles. Eastbound, we've got left lane blocked there because of an EMS vehicle on the scene. So it's a big mess over on the westbound side of the BQE from Metropolitan Avenue down, then we're jammed down to Flushing Avenue, Tillery Street, and out into Atlantic. The inbound side of the Gowanus is very heavy from Fort Hamilton Parkway up the Belt, up into 20th Street, to be jammed from there up into Woodhaven, up into Atlantic Avenue. Now, if you're traveling out into the Van Wyck Expressway, the Van Wyck is doing, well, it's not doing well, that's for sure. Northbound into Atlantic Avenue, it's a very heavy ride from back of the very busy Bell Parkway. The Bell Parkway is jammed from about Guy Brewer Boulevard out into the Van Wyck Expressway. And taking a look at Long Island, the Southern State has one long delay, traveling from the Bethpage Parkway out to exit 19 for Peninsula Boulevard, but it's not too bad. It's just a lot of volume, that's for sure. Over at the Hudson River, the inbound GW Bridge is 25 minutes, 25 to 30 inbound at the Lincoln, and 35 to 40 inbound over at the Holland Tunnel. Our next report is 7:51. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Wednesday News Time, 7:42. The story we've been following throughout the night here. A New Jersey State trooper was shot in the leg overnight. An update now.
A New Jersey State trooper is in stable condition. He required surgery after taking a bullet to his lower leg in Paterson overnight. Following the shooting on East 30th Street, there was a massive police response. Officers fanned out across a residential neighborhood. Paterson Mayor Andre Saya lives just a few blocks away.
I can assure everyone that our partners are working with our police department to apprehend these individuals.
The mayor says one suspect is in custody. Others are being sought. Investigators have not yet revealed the circumstances that led to the shooting. Sean Adams, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Paterson.
And we'll continue to follow that story from New Jersey this morning. Wednesday News Time, 7:43. Here in the city, Mayor Eric Adams expected to talk about his plan to help New Yorkers with mental illness. That'll happen at noon today. The mayor had given some initial details about this in his State of the City that happened in January. Politico reporting the mayor's initiative will be calling for expanding the city's supervised injection sites. Will also be mental health resources for high school students experiencing depression. Members of the City Council today unveiling a bill. Their goal, no-cost universal health care for all in New York City.
There's no better time to introduce a universal child care bill, says Councilwoman Jennifer Gutierrez.
All the stars have aligned to have a very serious conversation.
The bill would give parents greater equal access to child care, and it would allow families to keep their kids together in one center. Gutierrez says this not only improves families' lives, but would help the city's economy.
On average, a woman will lose close to $500,000 in her lifetime because she's making the choice of staying home with her child or children over going back to work.
Darius Francis, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Low clouds, drizzle, leaving some fog out there this morning. Just be careful. It is 41 as we're going to head to 57 here in the city. The man convicted of assassinating Robert Kennedy in 1968 is staying behind bars.
The California Parole Board denied Sirhan's request to be released, saying the 78-year-old still lacks the insight into what caused him to carry out the crime. Sirhan has publicly said he feels remorse every day. 2 years ago, the parole board with different members recommended his release, but it was rejected by California Governor Gavin Newsom. This was Sirhan's 16th parole hearing.
We're getting reports now of actually a lot of fog out there this morning, so we'll have an update coming up from AccuWeather. Be careful driving this morning, obviously. Pockets of drizzle and low clouds out there as well. The MTA is adding some cars to some LIRR lines. This after commuters are saying overcrowding's been a pretty big issue. The railroad overhauling its service plan at Grand Central Madison was factored into all of that. Newsday saying the new service shortened trains by several cars and took other trains off schedule, as riders apparently have been texting and emailing the MTA saying a lot of overcrowding at Jamaica Station, and it's been pretty rough on them. High humidity, we've got fog, clouds, drizzle, 41. Chilly, damp, dreary. How's that for an explanation? Along with some periods of drizzle here, then breezy and milder this afternoon. AccuWeather says some sun and pretty mild, 57, but we're watching for some wintry weather tomorrow.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, Maria in Miami, and Jules in Troy. Taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with high-quality supplies for every industry, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wendy's home-style French toast sticks are so delicious, some are saying that they're better than their mom's breakfast.
Excuse me, did you just say Wendy's French toast sticks are better than my breakfast?
Mom, is that you?
Answer the question.
I said some people are saying that because they're so crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside and perfect in every way.
Uh-huh. And what do you think?
I think it's time to tell people to choose wisely. Choose Wendy's sweet and crispy home-style French toast sticks.
That's still not an answer.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Did you live, work, or go to school in Lower Manhattan below Canal Street, either on 9/11 or in the 8 months after? Susan Richard here with this message. If you did, you really need to contact Barish and McGarry at 911awards.com. This is because you may be eligible not only for free lifetime health care, but also an award from the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund. You see, our government created those programs for everyone who is breathing in all that toxic dust, but many people aren't enrolling because they mistakenly think this is only for first responders. Well, let's be clear right now, that fund is also for a lot of other people. 300,000 downtown office workers, 25,000 downtown residents, and 50,000 students and teachers. And that's even if you're currently healthy. So let Barish and McGarry help you enroll. Go to 911awards.com. That's 911awards with an S.com. Barish and McGarry, lawyers for the 9/11 community.
Wednesday's time, 7:48. New York City has reached a settlement with hundreds of protesters who say they were brutalized by the NYPD during the George Floyd protests 3 years ago almost. It's been.
Attorneys tout it as the largest per-person payout ever in a police violence case. More than $21,000 will be going out to at least 200 protesters who were on the streets of Mott Haven on June 4th, 2020.
In my view, the city has done a cost-benefit analysis and very likely came up with the conclusion that it would be cheaper to pay out than fight this out in court and perhaps lose bigger.
Johnny Turno's a former NYPD captain, now teaching criminal justice at Malloy College. That night, protesters described indiscriminate attacks by police who had surrounded them on all sides, beating, shoving, and pepper spraying.
I do think that the NYPD will change some of its tactics based on this.
The settlement means the NYPD is not admitting to any wrongdoing, but in a statement, the department says it has re-envisioned its protest policies. Steve Burns, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Wins News Time 7:49. Quite an ordeal for those on this Lufthansa flight from Austin, Texas, bound for Frankfurt, Germany yesterday. Had to make this emergency landing in Washington, D.C. after severe turbulence. One of the passengers speaking, after all, was cleared and safe on the ground. Susan Zimmerman.
It was kind of like you're in slow motion, that you just see everything like in a movie where you just see everything lift, and then all of a sudden it just comes right back down, and you hear breaking glass, shattering plates.
The FAA tells us the Airbus was at 37,000 feet when suddenly it wasn't because of the turbulence, dropping pretty quickly.
I'm 5 months pregnant, so I was honestly thinking, I'm never going to meet my daughter. My husband and I have been trying for a very long time, and I'm thinking honestly that I'm never going to see my daughter.
Once on the ground, 7 passengers did have to be treated at a nearby hospital in Washington. And a Pennsylvania man in federal custody after he allegedly packed an explosive device in his checked bag on a flight to Florida on Monday. It turns out the TSA was on it.
Law enforcement believes the device posed a significant risk to the aircraft and passengers. According to the FBI, once the device was discovered, Muffley was paged over the airport's PA system and told to report to the security office. Instead, they say he left the airport. He was taken into custody soon after.
In that federal custody, 40-year-old Mark Muffley. There's been an arrest in connection with a series of bombings that happened in Fresno in California.
It started in December. 6 cars, including a patrol unit, bombed a 7th bomb involving a mailbox. The suspect, 44-year-old Scott Anderson, identified at a traffic stop in Riverside. But with the possibility the car was loaded with bombs, the arrest was delicate. Residents evacuated. Fresno Police Chief Paco Balderrama.
It's not just solving it, it's also doing it safely and doing it without the loss of life and doing it without putting our police officers in harm's way, which they were, either way, they still were.
As part of the operation, search warrants yielding illegal guns, almost 90 pounds of drugs, and $50,000 in cash. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Wins News Time, 7:51. Let's get to traffic and transit now. The update from Karen Stewart.
All right, let's check on those Hudson River crossings, see how we are doing here over the inbound George. It's 45 to 50 minutes for the inbound George upper level. There's nothing going on. There's no accident, anything like that, but 50 minutes for the George upper, 40 minutes for the George lower, and we'll take the 10 minutes, that's for sure. The inbound Lincoln is 45, and the inbound Holland, that's pretty much got a 45-minute wait as well. Mass transit, we've got subway train delays now. Manhattan bound B's and C's, Broad Street bound J's, Forest Hills bound M's, Bay Ridge bound R's, Metropolitan Avenue bound M trains, and Manhattan bound 6s. Those are all the subway lines that are running with delays. PATH, NJT, Metro North, LIRR, they all look great. No problems to tell you about. Now, if you're heading out into the southern state, westbound at exit 40, we've got a disabled vehicle. They're trying to contain it over to the right shoulder. Springbrook in Yonkers on the southbound side at South Central Avenue in Yonkers, we've got a disabled vehicle on the right shoulder. And in New Jersey, we've got a spin out on the northbound Turnpike Western Spur, north of 15E. That's contained to the shoulder as well. Alternate side parking rules are in effect today. We're sponsored by Jaguar Physical Therapy, your trusted in-network resource for physical and occupational therapy services. With convenient locations throughout New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, their team of experienced clinicians is just what you need to get back the life you love. For more information, go to jaguarpt.com. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Back to the forecast now. We do have some things to discuss here. Meteorologist Dean DeVore.
We do. In fact, let's start with this really yucky, dreary morning. In fact, as the rains lightened up a little bit in places, the fog's actually gotten worse. So watch out for some pockets of dense fog. But look, this is not going to be very long-lived. I think as we get to mid to late morning into the afternoon, it's going to brighten up and it's going to get nice, mild. A little breeze kicks in and we take it up into the mid-upper 50s. So you got that going for you for the afternoon. We'll transition around lunchtime. Temperatures tonight end up in the 30s, upper 30s in the city, low to mid 30s in the suburbs. And then tomorrow, looking at chilly conditions, early sun giving way to thickening clouds, mid 40s. I think tomorrow evening, it's not a uniform start. It's pockets of snow, sleet, and freezing rain, coating to maybe as much as an inch for the city and the nearest suburbs, while North Jersey, Hudson Valley, and Connecticut suburbs can see 1 to maybe as much as 3 inches of snow and sleet before we change over to rain. Everywhere within the 287 corridor is going over to rain, I think, in this situation. It could get heavy for a time tomorrow night, early Saturday morning, tapers off. Try to get in a little sun Saturday afternoon, mid 40s, and then upper 40s. Not bad for the first March Sunday. 41 right now, going up to a high today of 57 when we get into the sunshine this afternoon. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore on New York's weather station, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this morning commute for this Driving in the News in Paterson, New Jersey. And our thoughts and prayers are with that state police trooper that was shot in the leg in our town. Hopefully they'll capture the perpetrators and bring them to justice. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next Driving in the News.